Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. I'm full of cold, as are my guests. They're full of cold and cough, so we'll be on and off mute throughout. You are watching an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans, for Arsenal fans. On tonight's show, I'm going to be joined by my old sidekick, old man Trev, 77 years old and still kicking. I'm going to be joined by Big Steve, well, not so big Steve, and in a few minutes Scunny Mike is going to join us. 77, you're looking well for it, aren't you?
Thanks, mate. I'm feeling I'm full of cold, just like you. I can't remember kissing you at the weekend, Fergus. We both seem to have colds, mate. By the way,
mate, I was that drunk. I can't remember nothing.
I was sober as a judge, and I can remember you being drunk. You were a nightmare. By the way, I called it a Leeds fan. I'm your local Cockney banker. Well, I think that's what they were calling me, but I'm not 100% certain, Fergus.
Well, I got offered to be me and Potsy were walking back from the away pub to the stadium, and they were going to spark Potsy out and slash my Cockney CU throat. And I turned around and said, well, I'm Irish, does that still count? But hey, listen, overall, it was fantastic, very hospitable. There's always idiots everywhere.
Do you know what, mate? For actually supporting their side, they do an admirable job, because they were still going at it when they were 4-1 down. But it has to be said, they're not the nicest of people. Some of them are not the nicest of people outside the ground, are they? They weren't very hospitable at all. But we can leave it at that, mate, because we had a nice win.
We'll leave it there. We are going to be joined by the man who actually read the memo, because I didn't read my own memo, because I also, Potsy was due to be on tonight, but he's obviously was kissing me on, we were that drunk and we'd done the podcast on Saturday night. He's bound to have caught this lurgy off me. But I did say to Scunny, Scunny, wear a Christmas hat. Scunny, you read the memo, didn't you?
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. To be honest, I'll try and find one, but it's going to be unlikely. It's going to be unlikely
you
between
two are
now
just
and
slacking, absolute slacking.
Oh, I know, it's awful.
No way am I
It's
wearing
awful.
a hat. There's no way I'm rubbing the rest of my little bit of hair off. No way am I.
Well, mate, with that red top and you wear a hat, well, Jesus, you have the kids lining up behind you.
I'm not saying don't you worry about that.
Our fourth guest to join us is Big Steve. Big Steve is not very animate right now. Well, actually, he's not even that big anymore. Big Steve has done really well recently. And how many stones, pounds, kilos?
Almost 11 stone. So I'm 10 stone 9 down, and that was about a year ago. That was when I was last up in Sunderland. I'm back in Sunderland now after thrashing Sunderland last night. So it's great to have lost that much and be able to enjoy the Emirates and walking around and jumping up the stairs at Holloway Road if need be.
And
it's great.
And we got the producer in the background as well. Normally works behind the scenes, but the producer's in the background. So, listen, what we're going to do, guys. Oh, it's an Arsenal Christmas hat.
Arsenal
well done, Mike.
See,
Jesus. You've excelled yourself. You've excelled yourself.
On the ball, mate.
Kieran says, "Keep it up, little Steve." Well, he's medium Steve right now,
Steve.
but he's going on there. Hello to everyone in the chat: Pat, Arnie, Nobby. Really good to have you on again. I don't know if many of you watched. I know Scunny joined me and Potsy on. Well, I accused Potsy of being anchored on Saturday night, but as I listened towards the end of that podcast, I think I joined him in the same camp. We were severely inebriated, but it was a good podcast and people joined in and chatted in. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of echo, but if you did enjoy it, we will do something again similar to that. Not drunk, but maybe sober. We'll get different people join us. It was good fun. Myself and Potsy travelled up to Leeds on Saturday morning, and we listened to the radio the whole way up, and you were hearing about things like Villa or the Burnley game, with Burnley travelled down to Villa, was cancelled 2 hours beforehand. And even when we're having a beer and we checked into the hotel, we're thinking it's going to be cancelled. It's going to be cancelled. Trev, you went there. I saw you up there. You were a bit camera shy just before the game. What did you think? Do you think it was going to go ahead? Did you think it might have get cancelled?
No, I had no doubt it'd go ahead, Fergus. It was the only game left of the day, and it was the television game. So, yeah, I had no doubt it was going to go ahead, mate. I was over the moon that I managed to avoid you till we got in the ground. I was having a good day, but then you caught up with me in the ground, and I had to talk to you. But other than that, it was. I had no doubt it was going ahead. I had no doubt. People are saying, other teams have now got games in hand on us, but we have won the games that we've played while others haven't been playing. So I'm quite happy to have them points on the board. 4th place, over the moon. Very happy with it, and we've got to continue it now and push on. And January transfer window, which we'll talk about in a bit, is key, I think. Absolutely key, Ferg.
Totally. Scunny, you couldn't make it because you overspent on the piss for your birthday, and Father Christmas had sent you a big bill as well, so you couldn't make it. But you did make an appearance just at the right opportunity when we're trying to get around the Leeds Loop, and we've done about 6 laps thanks to your perfectly timed phone call. Thank you very much for that, by the way.
I thought I'd try and time it as best I could, and I know how aggravated and stressful that Leeds Loop is, and how mentally, especially the traffic lights are as well, how mental they are around that loop. I'm glad I caught you at the right time when you was driving round. To be fair,
I tell you what,
I'm just here. I'm here to cause trouble, and I always do it with this.
With a smile. Potsy kept on turning down the radio, and I go, for Christ's sake, that's what I never have the sound on the nav until I get right to my destination where I don't know it. So yeah, that was it. There's a couple of comments in there. Nice to see you were well oiled, and we were smashed. Yes, we were. We did start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were drinking 2 pinters in the Dry Salter earlier on. Steve, the lineup, same starting lineup, same starting 11 for 4 games in a row, the first time in 6.5 years for this to happen. What did you make of the lineup? No Aubameyang, Ben White returning to Ellen Road after spending a season on loan up there. What did you make of the lineup? Brief bit on that. Yeah,
I thought, we had a good, the lineup worked. Here's me, little mate. The lineup worked the week before. So yeah, stick with it, and good to see Martinelli staying in the side. Good to see Ben White and Gabriel continuing. I wouldn't have made any changes, and I'm glad Arteta didn't.
Trev, what did you make of the lineup? Clearly, Aubameyang's in the cold, and we will go on to the Sunderland game. He didn't even get a look in the Sunderland game ahead of Pepe, who I would have thought was further down the ranks, if I'm honest. He's done, isn't he?
Oh, he couldn't get in the side on form at the moment, couldn't he, if we're honest? I mean, we've actually started scoring goals from people running on through balls. Our left-sided striker scored 2 goals on Saturday against Leeds, something we've not had all season and most of the previous season. So, on form, Aubameyang couldn't get in the side at the moment and shouldn't be in the side. Not good enough. And I don't think we need to say any more about him, really, Fergus. We all speculate, us fans, don't we, about what goes on in players' lives, and we don't know. I mean, maybe in a lot of trouble, I don't know. So all I need to say, personally, is that he won't get in the side on form. He hasn't been good enough. We've got better players, playing better and scoring more goals. So, that's it.
It's a really fair comment. Just going through the lineup for people who are listening on the audio, we were looking at Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel in the centre, and Tierney. And in the centre, we had a Partey and Xhaka pairing, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Lacazette up top. Mike, opening 15 minutes, there was chances for Laka and Saka. What did you make of that opening period? There was a lot of pressure on Leeds. And look, credit to Leeds, where things are where credit's due. They could have easily probably shouted up one COVID case and got that game called off. They had a 15-year-old on the bench. There were squad number 45 and 47. And they gave us a game, especially in the first half, didn't you think?
Well, yeah.
Early in the first half, I
Credit
mean.
where's credit's due, you know, like I say, like you said there, they had that many injuries. They probably could have just said, "Oh, everyone's got COVID," you know. So, but there you go. It's the way it is, isn't it? So, but you know, that's how you go through a season. Sooner or later, you're going to get hit with injuries, and that it happens to teams. So yeah, it's we was in that sort of sense. Yes, we was probably lucky to face them without a few key players in there, but I still, with the form that we're in at the minute, I still think we probably would have beat them even if they had them key players. Because I think we're just pushing so far forward.
Yeah, I do agree. I think the style of play we got and pushing forward, plus the quality of their youth and Bielsa sticks to his core 11, 12 players, and half of those were gone. He didn't have any Bamford. He didn't have a lot of players that he would normally have. So he was on the back foot. But again, I've said it on Saturday night. I said it again earlier. But credit to them for actually turning up and giving us a game, and especially what Trev said. 4-1 down. They're singing Marcus Bielsa, and they're singing it at the top of their voices. I'd like to see the North Bank of the Clock End do that for Mikel Arteta if we're 4-1 down. And maybe we should take a leaf out of their book. But
what our Arsenal fans? Are we talking about the same style of fans here, Fergus?
No, I know what you mean.
No, I
go
just
on, Trev. You want to interject?
Just want to go into about the game
go,
and the player that stood out for me in that game, other than Martinelli, was Martin Odegaard. I thought he's had a fantastic game against Leeds, and I've noticed since Aubameyang's not really been in the squad how much of a better player he looks with, you know, the players around him. You know, the people moving and like Saka moving forward better. You got Lacazette, giving extra movement to let these players come in, and Martinelli as well. I think Martin Odegaard looks a better player without Aubameyang in the team.
Yeah, I do agree. Look, Martin Odegaard, I didn't think he was a bad signing because of his age and the price. We got him for 34 million. I thought even if we kept him for 2 years, we'd easily get our money back on the guy because he's a talented player. But I didn't think he was the superstar that everyone thought we're getting. But he seems to be fitting. Trev, he seems to be fitting into the team a bit better because we talked about him briefly after the game, and you said how you thought he improved.
Yeah, I think his last few games I've seen a marked improvement in Odegaard. It's interesting what Scunny said because I hadn't thought of that. Maybe it is something to do with Alba not playing. But then again, we look a better side without Alba playing because he wasn't in form. He wasn't contributing as much as we'd like. Just want to quote a tweet. I saw a tweet on Saturday night after the game, and it made me smile because it just said, we have to remember Leeds played their kids. They played their kids, But then again, so did we. We played our kids, So just bear that in mind. It was Odegaard did look a class act. I think that the forward players are playing with a bit more freedom now. They seem to be all over the park a bit more, and their energy levels, particularly from Martinelli. It's no wonder he goes down with cramp in the last 5 minutes. He absolutely runs himself into the ground, that kid. Admirable, absolutely admirable. And two, are we moving on to the goals yet, Ferg?
Yeah, but I was going to talk about. Well, the sight lines in the ground were poor, but where we were towards the back, your view would have been better because you were a bit more forward. We had pillars in the way, and there was a shout for a penalty for Xhaka, which was outside the box. But then the ball breaks free to Martinelli, and it's 1-0. I've turned around to Potsy, gone, I don't think that's a penalty, is it? And then I missed the actual goal because of where the pillar was and everything else. Trev, talk about that, and then I want to go to Steve on that.
Yeah, well, it was a wonderful finish. I was in row one, Fergus. I got away from them posts. My seat wasn't in row one, and I'm not condoning moving. But if it gets like 5 or 10 minutes into the game and no one comes in and you see an empty seat in row one at Leeds, you go and jump in it. So I was in row one, got away from them posts, and it was you can read a bit of luck into every goal. Yeah, Laka went down. Didn't think it was a penalty. Laka doesn't get given much by referees nowadays. He's got a reputation, hasn't he, and the referees look very closely whenever he goes down, and often don't give.
Was it Laka or Shaka that went down? Sorry, I thought it was Shaka.
I thought it was Xhaka.
Oh,
No,
maybe
it was Xhaka.
Yeah.
Well, then there you go. Whoever went down, it weren't a
Yeah.
free kick. Sorry, boys. But the finish from
The view in row
Martinelli-
one was great, wasn't it?
the finish from Martinelli was spectacular. When it was just lovely, not rushed, no panic from the young kid. Knew exactly where he was going to put it. Young goalkeeper got half an hand on it, but never going to save it. So yeah, very happy with it. Very happy with it. The Leeds fans in that corner weren't very happy when they kept going over there celebrating, were they?
No, they weren't, and we'll get into that. Steve, what did you make of Martinelli's goal? And Shaka then assisted Martinelli for the second as well. But that assist I thought was really, really good. Hang on,
yeah.
just be quiet, old man.
Yeah.
Not careful.
What I loved about that first goal is I haven't watched it back since the other day, but I think it was probably a 50-50 call for whether it was a penalty. But my first thought when I was watching it was that the referee played the advantage because Martinelli was about to pounce on the ball. But I loved the fact that Saka, Laka, Xhaka was on the floor. They're all looking at the referee, and Martinelli's just focused on the ball. Martinelli knows whistle's not gone. I'm going for it, and he caught
Play
some
to
of the
the
Leeds
whistle,
players
yeah.
off. He caught the Arsenal players off, and that's the sharpness that we've lacked in this side for a little while. Mike's, touched on the Ødegaard thing, and again, just coming back to that briefly, I think he was so sharp against Leeds, and he was pretty good last night as well. But just him and Martinelli coming back in at the side, not having Aubameyang just trouncing around, there is that little bit of uplift where we lacked before, and that's coming from the middle and that's coming from out wide. Then even more so when Smith Rowe comes on. But Xhaka, apart from a couple of moments where I think we're all calling him an absolute div, I thought he had a solid game. And that assist for Martinelli was quality. Just saw the run, saw him splitting the defender, splitting the defenders, and it was brilliant. And I tell you what, Meslier was not getting anywhere near that.
Mike, Martinelli, and later Saka gets the third goal in the first half, his fourth goal of the season. We're getting more goals from those areas. John Kremen in the chat says, and let's not discuss the Sunderland bit yet, but Leeds, if we faced a better Leeds, he feels that we could have lost to that. I thought we were solid despite the weakened oppositions. What do you think of the third goal in his comment?
Well, yeah, the third goal was. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it's nice to see Saka getting on the score sheet because I don't personally feel he's great in front of goal. I think his first shot was a bit wayward, and he probably could have hit that the first time round, and we probably would have been one up them. But yeah, at least he's finishing the chances that he does get on the odd occasion. So yeah, it's nice to see him get goals and stuff, and the work up to it was really good. I also, like I say, going back on Martin. I know I'm going back on Martinelli now, but I think I've had discussions with you guys before about Martinelli. He causes chaos in the team against other teams, and this is what we need from a player like that. Someone who causes chaos. He drives at players. He drives at the other teams, and you can see what that causes as well. Okay, yes, it wasn't the top lead side. It wasn't the Leeds first 11, but at the end of the day, you can only beat who's in front of you. If this is the case that it wasn't their first 11, there's been times where we've gone out as an Arsenal team and we've been decimated
Brentford.
with
Look at Brentford.
injuries.
Look at Man City.
Yeah, exactly. We look at that. So yeah, there is times that we're going to go out, and there's still another fair few games left in the season. Chances are there's going to be a couple more injuries to come in there as well. So we're going to be decimated in sooner or later. You've just got to beat what's in front of you, and this is all we can do. And I don't feel like we could have lost against a better Leeds side. I said it went at the start. I don't think it really would have mattered. It might not have been. I don't think it probably would have been 4-1.
Yeah,
but it might
have been a tighter game.
Probably would have won. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we faced the Leeds of last season, against the Arsenal of last season, I would have probably gone in there thinking we nick a 2-1, or maybe it could be a draw. But I disagree with John there. That yes, we did play a weakened side, but you can only play what's put in front of you, and that's the same happening right across the league right now, because the Premier League have put a ruling in that if you've got 13 outfield players and a goalkeeper fit, you're playing, and that's it. Trev, after Saka's third goal, you touched on it earlier. He went and celebrated in front of the crowd in the corner with his teammates who were warming up. And Andrew Marriner asked him to celebrate away from the Leeds fans, clearly because of what was happening beforehand. And then later there was Rob Holding, apparently, went to the fourth official and said that there had been some abuse.
That was before the third goal, Fergus. The abuse.
Oh, was it?
It was about the 30-odd minute when it all come about with Rob Holding and stuff.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm not.
I get the impression that Mariner stopped him celebrating in that corner after what went on.
Because of that reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Martinelli, he hadn't helped him out, as he did what a lot of professional goal scorers do. When he scored his goals, he was going down that corner, he was cupping the ear, he was stirring the Leeds fans up, and they're not difficult to stir up, the Leeds fans. And our mate Ramsdale was at it down with the fans behind his goal. He got whacked in the back of the head by something that they threw at him after he gave them some. So I think that, in fairness, I'm quick enough to pick on refs, but I think Mariner was probably right to say, look, we've had a load of trouble. Rob Holding has done a great job here and highlighted something. Get out of this corner and let's calm it down and let's see if we can find out who was upsetting Rob Holding. I believe they've arrested someone, and hopefully they have, and he gets what's coming.
Yeah, I spoke to a Leeds fan, and it's a young 20-something-year-old, and he's got a lifetime ban.
Don't make me laugh because I'll cough. Yeah, I saw Righty on Righty put a little video on, and he's exactly right in what he said. If that had been a black lad who got off that bench, the Arsenal bench, and said, "Look, I'm being racially abused," unfortunately, in the world we live in, it may not be viewed with as much seriousness as Rob Holding getting up and standing up as he did for one of his colleagues, one of his fellow players. So it's wrong that he's looked at in that way, but unfortunately, I think Ian Wright is right. It does happen. So Rob Holding standing up has been brilliant, and he's been calm. He's not gesticulated. He's just been calm, and I'm proud of him. And as you say, Fergus, if someone's got a life ban, then good. And let's hope there's many more if it continues, mate. Let's hope there's many more. By the way, Stevie, I've not forgotten you saying Xhaka had a good game. I'm waiting till I can come in on that, mate.
I said he had a solid game. I said he had a solid game, and he did, minus a couple of incidents.
No difference.
Well, we're going to, and you two can debate this then. We're going to come in and talk about that minor incident that you talk about. Xhaka losing it, he stamps on Rafinha, who was the really only main threat that Leeds had. And then there was a Tomiyasu foul, very similar to what Xhaka did. I think it was Gerhardt on Tomiyasu. I can't remember exactly, but he gets a yellow card, and Xhaka gets away with nothing. Trev, come first and talk to Steve.
Right. Okay. Let's go back to the. I'm not picking on Xhaka, but I'm saying it how I see Xhaka. That's why I'm on this podcast, to say things how I see it, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you think I'm picking on Xhaka, so be it. But this is how I see it. The through ball for the Martinelli goal, he only played that ball because if you watch it back, Lacazette pointed the way.
Mm-hmm.
Lacazette showed him where
screaming at him.
Right? Lacazette showed him where to play that pass. There was at least another 3 or 4 occasions in that game where Xhaka had 10, 12 yards in front of him, space to move into, because the Leeds players were young, they were inexperienced, they were getting beaten, they were dropping off, and they were leaving space. And Xhaka never used that space once. It was sideways or wing to the forward, sideways. when there was through balls for runners every time, and he missed those, right? And then we come down. Don't worry, Steve. I'll let you come back in a minute. Then we come down to the incident, right? And you've got to go back about 15, 20 seconds before the stamp, when the petulant Xhaka was told off by the referee, right, for not walking away from the ball. Now, he should have been booked for that. That is a bookable offence, right? But instead of walking away, the petulant clown, instead of walking away and thinking, I've got away with one here, 10 seconds later, he goes in and he studs up, stamps on a player. And 99% of referees are sending him off for that, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but I can't have that. I can't stand the man, right? And I can't have it. And I'll tell you why I can't have it, right? Because I'm going to draw a comparison with a player who's a million times better than Granit Xhaka, right? I'm going to draw a comparison with Patrick Vieira, right? Because Patrick Vieira had that in him, right? He'd get angry, and a couple of games a season, he'd get sent off for his petulance, right? But the reward you got from Patrick Vieira was worth that, right? The reward outweighed the risk, right? The risk with Xhaka is he's going to get sent off every other game, right? Or every few games. And the reward you get for risking that isn't enough. He's a petulant, and we've got better, and I don't want to see him in our team. Yeah, he played the through ball. He was told by Lacazette to play the through ball. Missed loads of passes into space, and I can't believe he got away with that stamp. It was totally different to the Leeds tackle. It was a petulant stamp, and the bloke is a grade A dick.
Steve?
I don't disagree, and this is why we have the debates every week when he's in the lineup as to why he shouldn't be in the lineup. But the fact is,
Scunny's reaction?
Yeah, the fact is, he was in the lineup. He did play that through ball, regardless of whether Lacazette was screaming at him. He also drove the ball into the box to get Martinelli in the position to score the first goal. There was a lot of sideways passing, as there always is with Granit Xhaka. And you're not wrong, Trev. You're not wrong. But I just think in terms of Granit Xhaka's good games and bad games, apart from those incidents, I think he had a solid game. He shouldn't be in the team. That's a completely different debate because he was in the team. But also just the other thing, and as much as I get the point, there is this idea that Xhaka is a red card machine, and even though he was lucky to stay on, he actually, I think I see the other day, he's only actually had 4 red cards for us in the 5 or 6 seasons he's been here, which is quite remarkable.
I must have given him about 40 in my support.
It's crazy, isn't it? It is crazy. But no, I don't disagree. But he shouldn't be starting. He shouldn't. I was so annoyed when I see him coming off the bench last night. He shouldn't be around the team. He shouldn't be in the squad. But when he is, you expect at least a performance like, at bare minimum.
You know what? I spoke to Trev. I spoke to Trev I spoke to Trev on the way back in the car, and the comment that you made there earlier about the comparison to Vieira, at least the risk and reward for Vieira, and he got 8 red cards in a season one time. But what he gave when he didn't get those red cards, they were worth taking. Where Xhaka gets a red card against City, which was pathetic. He looked like he should have had a red card against Leeds. And, add to the other facts that you got with the Palace situation and so on. So, listen, let's move on. We're half time.
I'm just going to get my 2 cents real quick. I thought he was doing all right. I thought he had an okay game, Xhaka. I didn't think he was having a poor game.
Solid.
I thought he was having a half decent game. And when I saw, like Trev said, it was Lacazette who was actually screaming at him to make that pass to go forward to Martinelli for his second goal. And then obviously when I saw that and I saw what he was doing with the ref, I was thinking, oh God, here we go. He wants some time off for Christmas, this clown. And then old behold, he went straight in with studs on someone, and I thought he was going. I honestly thought he was going to go. Red card straight away. But no, he got away with it. He got lucky. But, similar to what Irish Mick said there, when he was injured, he wasn't missed. He wasn't.
Nah, not this season.
And that says it all about Xhaka there.
And Matt comes along and says who replaces him in the lineup because Arteta loves him. Like, we are flogging a dead horse with Xhaka, I can't say all the fan base, but a lot of the fan base aren't happy with him, and we can't see how. Listen, I sound like a stuck record. Aside from the Palace situation on 29th of October 2019, not that it's stuck in my head. Aside from the booing and the F off to the fans and everything else, I don't think he brings out the best in the team, and hence why I'd like him to move on. But Trev, who would you put in his place? For me, Lokonga. I just think Lokonga might pair up with Partey better, or even pair up with Maitland-Niles better. Or you could even do Maitland-Niles as a Xhaka, because they're a little bit more progressive in the way they do football.
Yeah, you're right. I think we've got to give Lokonga a chance. He's developing nicely. I'm going to go back to Xhaka for 5 seconds and I'll never mention him again.
I don't think that's going to happen.
He's capable of sliding a ball through more often, like he did for the Martinelli goal. If he saw those quicker and played the balls, we would have scored at least 2 more goals on Saturday. And that's my view, and I'm going to stop at that. We could play Lokonga, we could play Maitland-Niles. Was it me, or did I thought that Odegaard started the game a bit deeper last night, albeit against the League One side? I thought that Odegaard started deeper. There's loads of
He played an 8 and Smith Rowe on the 10. Go on.
If you get part, I think that Partey, the last couple of games Partey has played, he's starting to show a bit of form and he's improving. And if you get Partey playing well in the midfield in that deeper role, but you don't need Xhaka. You need a Lokonga, or you need someone that can run forward with a ball at their feet. And I tell you who I'm seeing play at the moment, thinking, wow, that boy runs well with a ball at his feet. It's Ben White. Ben White, if he gets back into a corner, he can play his way out. I'm so impressed with his ball skills on the ball. So we have got options, maybe not the ones as good as the ones we'd like. We should give Lokonga a go, I think, especially if Partey is starting to improve his form, which the last 2 games for me, he undoubtedly has, Fergus. He's undoubtedly got better. He got a shot on target on Saturday.
He did, and it wasn't the moon either. Ben White, you talked about Ben White. Ben White conceded a foul, which was a penalty against Gerrard. What have we but number? Xhaka isn't good enough. He never has been. All the shouting, finger pointing, smokescreen. My dad at Fulham says milk turns quicker than Xhaka. Yeah, I think Xhaka turns slightly quicker than Per Mertesacker, and he turns slower than the Titanic. So yeah, I agree with you there, John.
No.
Well, you can turn. Yeah, you've blown smoke up your own arse now. Don't make me swear. It was. But Ben White, Mike? What did you make of the foul? And was it just, he went. Kai has got there. Kai's got a point. 50 pence said. Kai's got full Mustafi for 2 seconds.
I just loved how he was clapping when he got up from the challenge. He was like, yeah, and then he was like,
that was to distract the ref, wasn't it? For the penalty. That's all that was. That was a smoke screen. Even Ramsdale was clapping, thinking, yeah, we got away with this. Oh, shit, we haven't. Apologies for the swearing. But Trev,
don't worry, I think that slipped a little.
But I was going to say that, actually, to be fair, because I was never Mustafi's biggest fan. as if anybody watched us beforehand will well know that I was never Mustafi's biggest fan. But yeah, I think it was just a bit of a stupid moment and a stupid error, really, to be fair. He didn't really need to do it, to be honest. I think he probably could have led him out, but, in Arsenal fashion with our defenders, someone's got to do a Mustafi every now and again. But yeah, just to go quick on what you were saying about Lokonga and I think AMN. I think he had 2 man-of-the-man matches, and I think AMN deserves a good shot in the midfield as well. To be fair, because he did pull out 2. The last couple of times he's been out, he pulled some man-of-the-match performances.
Man-of-the-man matches, Scunny, and you have a go at me, son. What's a man-of-the-man match?
It's similar to Martinelli.
Martinelli.
Heinz
I'm
Martinelli.
sorry, Trev. I'm sorry, mate. Because
He's
you're
left.
wearing red and white and everything else, and the whole thing. All I can
The
hear in my
beard.
head is "Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus." That's all I can hear.
I just finger licking
Leave
good.
the act tonight.
Oh,
Sorry,
dear, finger
Fergus. What was
licking
your other
good.
question, mate?
I don't know. I'm still stuck on finger licking good.
I do miss
but,
that pink.
the other-
though, I must admit.
The last one was just I was pushing forward to just finish up on this game because we really overshot it. ESR pushes forward and gets a great assist, and this just cements the final point. And we're talking about Odegaard, how he's improving. Could there be a master pairing, Scunny? Could there be a Perez Henry-esque sort of I know they're different style players, but you get where I'm coming from.
I think we're in a great position at the minute with the likes of Martinelli, Ødegaard, Saka, Smith Rowe, all in them positions fighting for a place. We couldn't be in a better position right now as Arsenal at the minute with these 4 young lads pushing for places to get into the team, and all of them trying to outdo themselves, and they're all playing great. So it's only going to benefit us. To pick a team at the minute through them, out of them 4, then you can't really do that at the minute because every game's different. But I wouldn't take Martinelli out of the squad. I wouldn't take Saka out of the squad. I wouldn't take Ødegaard out of the squad. I wouldn't even take ESR out of the squad if I'm being honest. But unfortunately, one of them has to get dropped, and it could be you're picking a name out of a hat who's going to be gets taken out. Of the squad.
They don't necessarily have to get dropped if you drop players and more senior players like the likes of Shaq and so on. But
it's
listen,
just if you drop Ødegaard back, I don't. We had the discussion in the WhatsApp group that we're all in as well. I think if you drop Ødegaard back, I don't think it doesn't really work. He has done it before. It worked probably against Sunderland. It's a lesser team, but I think against better teams in the. Sorry.
I tell you what, Arnie wins.
In the Premier League.
Arnie wins Iceland's Got Talent comedian prize.
Arnie, you're on a fine line. I'm alive. Let me tell you, Arnie, you're on a fine.
he says, Scotty, if Trev was Santa Claus, he gets stuck in the chimney, and I reckon that's a chimney.
I was trying to be nice to Trev. I was just complimenting the guy on his looks, but if someone wants to take that the other way, that's up to them. I'm not getting involved.
Look, right. Listen, we can't move on. We got to go back to the ESL goal because we've got to just cover it off quickly because it was a really, really clever goal. ESR showed his quality because he won the ball. He won the ball. Lovely intercepted tackle, won the ball. Slipped it to Ødegaard, and he's off. Smith Rowe's off. And unlike another player that I've just mentioned, I'm not going to talk about anymore. Ødegaard didn't look sideways, didn't look back, looked up, looked forward, saw Smith Rowe going, and just placed it. Smith Rowe didn't have to touch it. First time shot. It didn't look a good goal. It didn't look a spectacular goal, but it was a very, very good goal, Fergus.
Because the easier pass, Trev, was to Martinelli, who was clear out on the right hand side. So he made the harder pass. Listen, I want to finish on the Leeds game because we did do it drunk the other night in Leeds. We tried to touch on it, and we had a bit of a sing song with some other fans in the hotel. But I have got a couple of clips and photos that I'm going to quickly show you. This was outside the away pub with the Ashburton Army. We didn't know we were playing in blue, so we got yellow flares out and going yellows, and not realising that Leeds probably were. Bumped into some people. Trev in row 1. So that was good. Trev and Terry and me and Potsy.
Terry smiling. That don't happen. That don't happen often. Terry smiling.
Well, you bought him a beer, didn't you? You bought him a beer. That's why he'll smile. It's a very rare occasion that you buy beer. So, and I did I just liked the old ground, the Leeds ground, and they had, oh, Christ, I can't even remember the guy. Billy, what's the name of the player? Billy Bremner. Yeah, the Billy Bremner statue out there and all the plaques. I just found it a bit classy, Here he is. Here comes Father Christmas.
Hey. He's done it.
Have you text Donna, didn't you?
It's too small for me, big head.
There was a couple of other little bits and pieces with self and. That was myself and Potsy.
There's always one person on the phone as well, isn't there?
I know it's horrible. Isn't it?
We didn't. In fairness, I didn't do much of it because I don't like to. I like to watch the game.
I was
But
on
there was
about
a couple
the
of bits I
person
wanted to
behind
grab.
Funny, that's
Oh,
why Lely's goal.
Let me have a look again. No, but you see the guy in the multicoloured top. You see the guy in the multicoloured top. They start singing that song, and it just come back to my mind. They start singing that song about Robbie Lyle, and I just got wound up with it. And I heard it so many times at the pub and everything. I was just repeated. And I know Robbie; he's no personal friend of mine or anything like that. But we know what he does, and we know AFTV, etc. But I turned around to the guy and said, "Oh, so you know him then, do you?" And he goes, yeah. And I said, what, you know he's, you know, what you're accusing of being, you know, you're saying that you know that for a fact. I went, yeah. I said, oh, right, okay, yeah, cheers, thanks for that. And I turned back round again, I just stayed quiet. I turned around and said, I won't use the swear words on here, but I said, you're a bloody liar. I said, and that's wrong, because how would you like if somebody accused you of being what you're doing and saying? But the night went on. We started on beers, then we progressed.
So here we are. We're in a pub in the centre of Leeds. Fingers out, just for lead judges. On the halves. What? As Lee would say. But you know, we're real men. We've got Taliskares. Scotch whiskey. See you later. So Potsy can't hold his beer, so we've gone spiced rum. Cracking. Pop the arse.
There's no wonder you
not
two share a
proud.
room.
I'm not proud. We didn't share a room, but we were checked in as a couple at first.
What?
What? I was taking the mick out of lead judges, but
Yeah.
I'm not proud. But the thing is, an hour after that is when we done that podcast, so it was like, yeah. So it wasn't great. Listen, last night, Steve, you represented.
Can't move on. Fergus, you can't move on.
Here we go.
No, you can't move on because you've talked about the fans and you boys were brilliant and the fans were brilliant, right? But it has to be said, right, that when I watched the game back the following day, the full game back on Sky that I've recorded, the Leeds fans are very loud, very vociferous, and they're always behind their team. But for half the game or even more, all you could hear was the Arsenal fans backing their team. 2,600 Arsenal fans. Proud of every one of them. The atmosphere at away games has been amazing this year, and Leeds was right up there with the best of them. So, sorry, I can't move on, Fergus, without saying how good they were, and we've got to keep it up because it obviously lifts the players. You saw Gabriel when he come off, and they were all buoyed up. You know, we're doing a job when we're doing it well. Sorry, mate.
I had got a video clip of Aaron Ramsdale coming up, and England's number one, and he's clapping the crowd as he does. And there's also another clip with the Leeds fans giving him so much abuse, which everyone will have seen on Twitter. But we've got England's number one. And then he starts going, cupping his ear to us, and then covering his mouth, and going, oh, am I going to be number one? And I just thought he gets the banter, something brilliant. Steve, you represented us yesterday at the Emirates Stadium. You got your half and half scarf, and explain the reason why, very briefly, why you got a half and half scarf.
So I did get a half and half scarf. So my great granddad played for Sunderland. I'm in Sunderland now. This little chap next to me, my youngest nephew, he is a born and bred Mackham. But he's a gooner, so I had to get myself a half and half scarf to add to the 3 that I've got on my wall at home, and I had to get him one. But yeah, my plan was for Christmas, drive to Leeds, go to the Leeds game, follow on to Sunderland. But as soon as we got the draw, I was obviously hoping for a Sunderland away. I would have been up. But no, Sunderland at home, so I delayed my drive for a couple of days and had to go.
So
my first Arsenal game was Arsenal Sunderland in the same cup, so yeah, had to be done. And I met up with Lee.
So
we
had Pepe and Balogun started. Pantino on the bench. You checked me on my Pantino on the bench.
Pantino.
And 5,000.
Yeah.
Pantino.
It's not even a difficult one, that one, Fergus. It's
no end.
Patino.
It's just making it more difficult.
Because I said Pancino, didn't I? I put a C in there or something like that.
No, you said Pantino. You got it wrong again.
Don't worry.
You can't blame, don't blame Saturday.
Trevor, it's me and you. We're just going to mispronounce everybody's name. Panto. Patina, let's move you back to where you were. Trev, Pepe and Balogun get the start. Let's rather than going line by line around the game. Talk to me about Balogun. Balogun was given the opportunity to have first team football, albeit against League One opposition. But first team football, he had one game against Brentford, and this game he didn't. He for me, I watched it. I watched it with my daughter's partner. They arrived in from Germany over the last couple of days, and we were watching it, and we just said he just looked like overawed by it, and it seemed like he put himself under an awful lot of pressure, and he failed miserably, in my view. What did you think, Trev?
Yeah, I agree, Ferguson. Choosing my words. Hang on a minute. Sorry, mate, I've got a cold, as you know.
I've had to do just the same thing.
Yeah. I've seen Balogun twice, 3 times this season now, and I'm not. He's a young kid and he's got plenty of time to develop, but he's clearly not up to the standard we need at the present time in the Premier League or anywhere near it. He's not good enough. Hopefully he'll develop. So there you are. He needs to be sent out on loan, or he needs to get lots of games in the under 23s and see where we go from there. But he's not good enough at the moment. Is Fergus gone for you as well, boys, or is it me? Oh, Fergus.
Yeah, he's gone, mate. But I agree with you, Trev.
Hang on a minute. Here we go.
No, I agree with you, Trev. He is, he's had a couple of chances now, and he just hasn't lived up to his namesake like he's been doing in the other under 23s.
Yeah.
So for me, I think this talked about loan deal that's going to happen in January. I think it can't come quick enough. He does need it. I'm hoping it's to a championship side. Or maybe another lower league Prem team, but I can see it probably being out somewhere, somewhere in the European continent somewhere.
The thing with me and my views on Balogun, obviously I've got a historic chubby for the kids.
Yes, chubby for the kids. I heard that in a long time.
I like Balogun. But I said even when he made his debut in the Europa and he scored a couple of goals, he needs to be playing against men, because coming on and playing against farmers, literal farmers and dentists, like people are saying about Eddie last night, look at the level of opposition he's played against. Balogun has played against some of the lower league, Premier League teams. He's played in the cup, and he hasn't been as good as he's been for the under 23s. And again, historically, I've stuck up for Eddie in the past. My point, and I'll make a comparison between Eddie and Balogun. Balogun looks like he has a lot more potential than Eddie Nketiah does to be a top player. He's got pace, he's got the physicality, he does know where the goal is, but he's playing. He's only scoring at under 23s. He's not converting that. At least with Eddie, he has shown that he's got that poacher's finish and the quality of the different types of finishes that he's pulling out the bag when he does play. But Eddie doesn't have the overall game. Not saying that Balogun had a good game last night, because he didn't. He was poor. But Balogun tends, even in the under 23s, tends to have a lot more to his game than Eddie always did. Eddie had the finishing, and he's a very good finisher. But Balogun, 100% needs a loan, and he needs to find his feet playing against men. And I think that's the most important thing for Balogun.
Trev, looking at Pepe as another performance, Pepe, Paul Merson said, I think on Sky Sports, that 1 minute he was an 8 out of 10. I think he was trying to be polite, and another minute he was 2 out of 10. What did you think of Pepe's overall performance? I'm not a fan of Pepe. I've never thought he's good enough. I think he's too one-dimensional, although occasionally he does have a great shot, and he scored a goal with his left foot, and it was a good goal. And he gave a couple of assists. He had a good game against average opposition. Go on, Trev.
Yeah, you're right, mate. I mean, I'm not at risk of getting shot down, right? I'm not drawing too much from the players' performances from last night individually, Pepe and Ketia, because we were playing against a League One team, and not even a top League One team. You know, they're up thereabouts, but they're not running away in the League One. So they're an average League One side, and
above average. Average.
Eddie scored 3 goals, 3 good goals, but I've never seen him do it at the top level. Pepe had a blinder, I thought, played really well, but although his stats might tell you differently, when I watch Pepe play in the first team in Premier League, he lets me down every time. So I'm not drawing many comparisons from last night. I think what might be best to come from last night's game is the fact they've all got to run out. They've all scored a goal. Eddie scored 3, and it might up their confidence a bit, you know. And going back to Balogun, Fergus, before we move on, right? Balogun, I can't work Balogun out this season because you were there. We went, didn't we? Brentford away. He's starting the game, right? And we're thinking, wow, Balogun starting for the first team. We're going to see this lad buzzing around the field, wanting the ball, chasing people down, showing the young person's energy. And I'm sorry, but we saw none of that. He's not even getting in the games, you know, so he's got to improve. I can't see him doing anything other than going on loan. And to be really harsh, and this is harsh, I thought that the 11 or 12 minutes that Patino was on the field last night, he showed more want and energy and chasing the ball down than I'm afraid Balogun did all game. You know, That's how I saw it, mate. So Balogun needs some help. I've no doubt there's a good player in there. I've no doubt there's a big goal scorer in there, but not yet. Not at Arsenal yet. We need to get him outside.
There's a real big aroma of Akpom around Balogun at the minute, you know, because he was a brilliant under 23, and then he just never made it. And that's the issue that I've got with Balogun at the minute is he going to be that kind of player where he's going to be brilliant for the under 23s, but when it comes to first team, he's just not going to cut it. That's the issue I've got around him, and that's the aroma that's around him at the minute, and that's the problem with Balogun at the minute. So, you know, it's just the way it is.
Was it that he was played on the right? On the left, and Eddie was played through the middle because Eddie is more a poacher, or was it more what Tony says? He just needed a rocket up his backside, you know, and it's down to him and his attitude. Just which do we think?
Just
I'm
on that,
agreeing with Big Tone again. I hate agreeing with
Martinelli. Martinelli has been playing on the left.
Hey, exactly, Steve. I was just going to make that point, mate. Great point. He was stuck out on the left, Heath. I agree, mate. I agree. But Martinelli's been stuck out on the left, and he's been banging them in for fun. And Smith Rowe's been playing out wide, banging them in for fun. So that's
where did Thierry Henry start?
There you go.
Whoa, let's not bring in that comparison.
I'm just saying. If you're
hold your horses there, mate.
What I mean,
frog.
I'm gonna have
what I mean
Ferguson's gone for that.
Yeah. Good man, Trevor.
What I mean, I'm not putting him in that. But what I'm saying is, if you're a good, you know, if you're making that,
if you wanted to, I know
player,
what I get what you're saying.
You're, you know, finding your time on the ball and taking on players, you're going to be able to find a bit more space and a bit more, you know, time to find your feet playing just out in the middle.
And you touched on Henry and Martinelli and everything else. You look at that goal. Was it against West Ham, or was it against? Yeah, it was against West Ham. That just felt a Thierry Henry goal, and I can see Martinelli improving. The guy I want to not quite finish on, but near enough finish on this game is Eddie Nketiah. Mike, I'll start with you and Eddie. Eddie got a hat trick, took the match ball away. In the match chat, Trev was saying he's not good enough for the Premier League, and I tend to agree. And against the opposition we had, players look better than they are, but boy, did he grab his opportunity and make it difficult and scream out for right, give me a decent contract.
No, I think Eddie, I've never been convinced by Eddie. Yes, he, like Steve said before, he's been a brilliant under-23. He has scored goals as and when. I wouldn't say he's prolific. I don't think he is that great, for the first team. I think last night, to be fair, I think that you don't really I wouldn't take too much from it. Like Trev said earlier on, just for the simple fact is, he doesn't do it that often. I think he is, like someone just made a comment there, is a championship striker. I'd probably tend to agree with that. And, you got to look at it in this sort of sense. Eddie is out of contract at the end of this season. He's looking for a new team. He's got to show something for a new team. I think it'd be daft to get him on another couple of year contract. I don't think it's just going to be right. I think sometimes you just got to cut the cord, haven't you, and let go. And I think it's probably time for Eddie.
See, I think it depends on the situation with Balogun, and it depends on the situation with Lacazette. I think games like last night show why players like Eddie are valuable to a squad. Same with El Neni, and I said it in the chat and I got shot down. I thought El Neni was solid last night. I thought El Neni, and it's the perfect game for players like that when you don't want to risk a Partey, you don't want to risk, Lokonga's out. Let's say we would have started Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Partey. We didn't have to because we had El Neni. I think there's certain players that suit a squad, and Eddie, the level of opposition was not top, and I don't think Eddie's overall game was fantastic last night, but in the box and apart from the finish that came off his knee from Rob Holding's head,
what I said?
He finished so two back heel, just knew where the ball was coming in, knew exactly where to place it and placed it well, and that's a skill that most of our other forwards don't have.
Steve, you know what I said? I said to Martin when I was sitting watching the game with him, he always ends up on the penalty spot, and that is, as Tony said, a fox in the box.
Yeah.
That is what he can be. I don't think he's good enough quality. I don't think he'll make the grade. He struggled at Leeds.
Not where we want to be.
Due to injury and everything else. But Tony talks about saying keeping as a third choice, depending on squad and so on, maybe so. And now with COVID and so on, I think the likes of Balogun may not go out on loan because you need to probably have fat in your squad, so you've got backups and so on.
But even then, for the here and right now, if we let's say Lacazette, Martinelli is going to stay on the left, but Lacazette is out, Aubameyang is out. Out of the two strikers, I would much rather play the rest of the season with Nketiah up top than Balogun, just because. And I said it last season. Eddie hasn't had a lot of game time with the likes of Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, his mates, who he played a lot of the under-23s with. He played with a few of them last night, got a hat trick. He played with them in the earlier rounds, and he got 2 in 2. So I think that says something. I don't think he's good enough to lead the line for Arsenal, especially not for where we want to be. If we're sitting there content with 8th, 9th, 10th, then maybe so. But we're not, and we have to be striving for better. But yeah, depending on the Lacazette situation and the Balogun situation, I think as a third choice squad striker on 20-30 grand a week, yeah, keep him about. But if he wants the minutes, then cheers, mate. See you later.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You got to look at it. You got to look at it this way as well. We tried to get rid of him at the start of the season, and he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go. for whoever knows what reasons he didn't want to go, but we did try to, it was ready to be sold. And then even now, I think to myself, just because he scored them 3 goals last night, I still don't think, I'm looking at completely different to you guys. I don't think it would work in against a Premiership team. Like someone said in the comments a minute ago, he's got, he had a lot of time and space during that game. How much time and space is he going to get against a Premier League team? He's not going to get that much at all. And for the way we play in the Premiership, I don't think he's going to get any of that. He's not going to get that sort of pass ranges and anything else in the Prem with any of the team members that are in there with Ødegaard or thingy. And you've got to look at it this way as well. Even if Aubameyang is out, sooner or later he's going to probably come back into the squad because he's here for another year still. Even if he doesn't get,
he's gone in January. He's gone in January.
Yeah, but I'm just saying for argument's
he'll go on loan or whatever.
Sake, but for argument's sake, if he doesn't go, then you still got Aubameyang that can come back into the squad. We've still got Lacazette till the end of the season if he doesn't go in January. We have got Balogun. You've got Martinelli who can play as a striker. You've got Pepe who can play as a striker. Okay, we don't rate Pepe, but we've got that option. Where's he gonna fit in?
I think that's it. It's circumstantial with Eddie. I think if the likes of Pepe, Orba, etc. go, Eddie may stay. Eddie may stay, and Arteta's given him minutes, so I think he's within the plan.
So listen, Trev, to finish this up, Eddie had a hat trick. The only brain fart we had was a bit of a defensive cock-up, a defensive joke with Cedric way up the pitch, Ben White way up the pitch, El Neni in no man's land, Pepe trying to hold the midfield. It was a total joke, that goal we conceded. And for a very brief moment, I was thinking, right, we're 2-1, and this goes 90 minutes, and then it goes penalties. And I started considering that for a very brief moment. But we ended up finishing it 5-1 with... on the 79th minute, a lad who joined us when he's 12 makes a senior debut, and he scores a goal at 18 years of age. Talk to me about this young Charlie Pantino, whatever his name is. God, stop, Scunny. Just leave me alone. Pantino. Just
No.
Just no end.
Yeah.
It's not a panto, Fergus.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, yes, it is.
And stop you two. You've talked enough for a minute. Trevor hasn't talked, and he'll chuck his toys at his pram. You know what he's like. Talk to me about his goal, and currently at the moment, West Ham are playing. Tottenham are playing West Ham. It's currently 0-0. But do you want to reenact 1987 semi-final?
No, I want to talk about Patino, and I want to sum up what I see from last night, Fergus. Right, in that Arsenal right now are an improved. We're not like a side that's ticking over anymore, or we're not like a weak side. We're a side that's got players that are improving all over the pitch. Right. If you look at the Arsenal team that went out and played against Leeds, apart from probably Laka and Xhaka, all those other players are young and improving, yeah? So from where I look at it, January is very important. We get a striker that improves us, and we get a midfielder that improves us. And I can't see us looking back. I don't think Nketiah has shown me enough at this present time to say that he will improve our Premier League side. Balogun certainly hasn't shown me enough to say that he'd improve our Premier League side. But in the 10 minutes that young lad was on the field last night, I saw youthful exuberance, right? What 2 long words from me. Youthful exuberance from young Patino. And I've not seen that from Balogun. So I've seen difference straight away. And maybe he's the one that's going to improve us. So we've got to get him going, But we are an improving side. There's loads of positives, And it wasn't just, by the way, we can't just say that Eddie scored 3 goals, but he'll only ever be a player in for the lower teams, and we can't just say that Balogun didn't shine. I thought there was other players in the Arsenal side last night that clearly showed why they're not getting in the first team. I thought that Cedric was average at best. I thought that Holding was at fault for their goal. So it's not just the boys we've been talking about. There's a bigger picture, and so we are an improving side. We've got no depth. And Arnie, we don't play Leno's son. Catch up. We play Ramsdale now, mate. Ramsdale plays him.
Do not start me on. Do not start me on Leno. I'm not going there because he done it again. He punched.
But Fergus, we've
Go
sort
on.
of gone down on it a bit. You know what I mean? And we should be boisterous tonight. You know, we've had a couple of really good wins. We've won last night. Done all we can be asked to do. Our side are playing well, looking positive. You know, we've said about this player ain't playing well, this player ain't good enough, this player. But we've got many, many more that are better and improving and going to take us exactly.
In fairness, Trev.
Away.
In fairness, Trev, I think we were quite upbeat. Eddie, we've said played really well. Pepe, we said played above his standard. Okay, against a different opposition. Apparently it's pint of beer. Is that what is it? Pint of beer? Pantino, whatever. I don't know. He had a great game, but I've been given English lessons from an Icelandic man. So thank you, Arnie. Pint of beer, a pound of beer. Is the man gone forward? But yeah, I think overall it was really good. We've been upbeat about it, Trev. I don't think we've been downbeat.
You know, we haven't been downbeat, but we've spent a lot of time saying that we don't think certain players are ever going to be good enough. And you know, over the last 5 minutes or so, and it needs to be said that we've got loads of players that are. I think the only reason that we've done that is because those were the players that were. There was a lot of the younger players that were playing, so we were just like they're given an opportunity to prove themselves, and we were just analysing them more than being negative. Look, the Arsenal Football Club have improved tremendously over the last few weeks. It's fits and spurts sometimes, and our fan base can be a bit fickle. If we play a top side, they moan if we lose. We beat a top 4 side in West Ham, and I didn't hear all those moaners coming out and said, "Oh, well, actually, I take it back. Fair play." And then we beat some lower sides convincingly, and everyone comes along and goes, "Yeah, but it's who you play." So, yeah. We do.
Trev, do you want to? Go on.
No, you're right, Ferg. I'm agreeing with you, son. I'm agreeing with you. We are at a stage now where we do need a result against a Chelsea or a City or a Liverpool, Man U. That would be the next step for me now because we're showing really good form against these lower sides. It'd be lovely to go out there and get a result against Man City on New Year's Day. Wouldn't that be lovely? I'm still got my doubts we can do that, but that's the next step, Ferg. But we are heading in that direction from my point of view. I'm much more confident in what we're capable of doing now than I've been for a long time.
Okay, listen. The reason why Trevor's so zen and peaceful is look at this. This is where he was this morning. I don't know who was taking who for a walk. Nancy is his dog who's eating half his house. And he's on the beach in Lincolnshire, walking down there. That's absolutely brilliant. You know what? I think you've been blessed, Trev. You've been blessed by Father Fergus.
Oh,
and,
my God.
Oh, jeez.
You beat me to it, son.
You know what you do if you know you're going to get attacked. Go in first.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was funny. That was
Listen,
lovely.
anybody on the audio?
That
Go on.
It was freezing cold this morning, but the dog had her coat on, I had my coat on, and me and the missus off we went. There was no one on that beach. It was clear and dry. Beautiful. Beautiful. I didn't even know the missus was taking that picture, but I'm so pleased we've got a dog now. It's costing me a fortune in a new sofa every week and everything, and new slippers for the missus every couple of days, but I wouldn't change it.
I reckon the missus was taking a picture of the dog's arse, not yours.
Well, probably, yeah. I can't argue that point, yeah.
Scotty, I thank you for wearing the hat. Sorry, I didn't read my own memo. I wish you, Jay, and all the kids a very merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy 2022 and beyond. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks very much. Have a good one, mate.
Thank you very much, mate, and all the best for you and yours, my friend. And yes, I do read the memos, as you can see. It is an Arsenal one, so it's got to be done, hasn't it? It's got to be done for a podcast.
It has indeed. It has
Hey
indeed. Hey up.
Who says hey up?
Steve, Merry Christmas to you. Keep it up. Don't eat too much turkey. Yeah, just
Nah,
have
I
a
can't.
bit of turkey. Yeah. I know you can. I know you can. I believe somebody wants to say something. I don't know. Is it a Christmas greeting or whatever?
Up the arse.
Up the arse.
There we go. Good lad. Steve, Merry Christmas to you and all yours, both down south and up north, and a very happy and very healthy 22 and beyond. Thank you, mate.
And again, to all you guys, exactly the same. It'll be a good one.
Trev, go on. We're bound to have some sort of, Trev tangent alert or something like that. It's got to go. It's got to go. So I'll just put you on screen. You can have a chat, and then I'll wish you a Merry Christmas and all that afterwards.
Ferg, listen, right? It's I've got not much to say apart from I love you all. I love doing this. I'm so pleased you let me come on here regularly and you put up with me because I know I'm a pain in the ass. But happy Christmas and a happy New Year to everybody. I'm a very happy man at the moment. The Arsenal are playing well. I do this. We're all smiling. We're all happy. And I just want everyone to have a very Merry Christmas. And whether on social media, whether in real life, whatever, just be nice to people. I love being nice to people. I can be very, very controversial on social media. Me, you look at my Twitter, very controversial, but I'm never nasty. I'm never nasty. Be nice to people. It's Christmas. I love you, Ferg. I love you boys as well. And, well, Merry Christmas.
You did call Xhaka a dick.
Well, he is.
Mike,
I'm not saying you said be nice. I'm just saying, well, you did call Xhaka a dick.
it was his attitude. You know, his attitude. Excellent attitude. You know, I call my kids,
Tangent alert.
but I love them really. You know. Yeah.
Merry Christmas to you guys and everyone in the chat,
Trevor.
and everyone who's listening and watching from me. So yeah, have a good one, guys.
Yeah, Trevor, as you know, we've not been mates that long, actually. It's probably about 3 years. Yeah, I've already put that up. You're so behind. Now you got a bit of control. Just keep an eye on the chat, mate, if you're going to put them up. We've only known each other.
He's cocky on social media.
We've only known.
Face, he don't have it.
We've only known each other about 3 years, and we're introduced by Johnny from the North Bank, and we just got on like a house on fire. I love doing this with you, and if you come along and say you're not feeling well, I go, I don't feel like doing it unless it's me, Trev, and guests, and it's been absolutely thoroughly enjoyable.
Do you know what? That hurts,
off before.
That hurts.
Hang
We've been doing this. I've been on. Steve's been on as well, you know.
Whoa!
We were audio only.
I hadn't finished. I hadn't finished because it did start, as you rightly said, after episode 90. I think we had about 90 episodes on audio, which was. I remember your first episode was wasn't it called or something like that? And look how we've all progressed. We've all done well. Big Steve's
These
come
nuts.
on. These nuts. There's some hilarious ones. We've done the Arsenal history ones. Shout out to Manny if he's watching. I know he's disconnected from a lot of the Arsenal stuff, but big shout out to Manny. To Max, to Scunny Mike, to Scunny Mike and Boston Ozil. I know I had to carry on with it, Scunny. Sorry. To Boston Ozil and everybody else who's been involved over the years. Johnny from the North Bank. I wish you and everybody else who listens to us a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be healthy and enjoy the time with your families, which is the most important thing. We didn't have it last year. I remember doing these podcasts last year, and it was not the best time of my life. And I wish you all the best. On that note, guys, before it gets too emotional and everything else, and Trevor just like wakes up, or are you dead, Trev? No, he's muted. He's not dead. He's just muted.
I'm sorry, I was just watching on the telly. Then Tottenham had just scored. That's why I was like, Yeah, Tottenham are strong. That's what-
Okay, and Liverpool are losing 2-1 to Leicester.
2-1,
They
yeah.
were 2-0 down at one point. So, right, guys, thanks very much. We will speak to you in between Christmas and New Year. We might do one of these phone-in ones that we done the other night when we were very drunk, and we might even be drunk midday or whatever, because it's Christmas, it doesn't matter. So, up the Arsenal.
You've been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too.